Who is the one true king of gaming chairs? The Herman Miller Gaming Embody, Secretlab's Titan, or another gaming chair entirely? After spending thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours sitting in all the most popular models, here's what I think you need to know before you buy. Let's start with what we can see. If you're a hardcore gamer or streamer looking for something to look cool on camera, you can't go wrong with either the Embody or one of Secretlab's chairs. These are two of the coolest looking chairs on the market with plenty of color options to go around. If you ask me, the Embody generally has a more mature and premium look. They look good in a game room, but also work in a professional office. Secretlab's chairs, on the other hand, cater to a younger audience. They're a bit more playful and gamer-esque, so they'll look great in a game room, but if you used one in a professional workspace, they'd make you look like a goober and it'd be hard to take you seriously. Like, if you walk into your lawyer's office and he's sitting in a Secretlab chair, bro, you're fucking cooked. You're going to jail. But ultimately, I think both chairs nail their individual looks, so the winner on aesthetics depends on your personal preference and use case. By the way, this video is not sponsored. I don't have a horse in the race here, but if you decide to buy either chair or another one that I'll mention later, I'll drop some links down below, which I'll keep updated with the best deal possible, and using these links will help support the channel, which I always appreciate. Next, we get into ergonomics. Now, if you're not in your 20s, you might not get this yet, but trust me, this is the most important section in the video. If you buy the wrong chair and sit in it for 8 hours per day for the next 10 years, your back is gonna be fucked. I promise. Invest in your health, choose the right chair for your spine, and thank me later. Now, it's worth mentioning, I've gone on record saying this before, for me personally, I don't find either of these chairs to be particularly ergonomic despite their claims. There are other chairs on the market that I found to actually support my back and promote good posture far better than either of these, but for the sake of this comparison, it's fairly obvious that a lot more thought went into the design of the Embody's back support than the Titan's. The Titan's got this L-adapt lumbar system that just doesn't feel intuitive to me and doesn't make a difference no matter how much I adjust it. I swear, sometimes I think the dials on the side are just for show. No matter how far forward I set the recline, this chair does nothing to hold me up unless I kind of slouch into it like this. So I typically default to sitting like this or like this, where it's like not even touching my back at all. The lumbar support of the Herman Miller Embody can be adjusted in a way that makes a much more meaningful difference, even if I don't find it particularly comfortable myself. So while neither of these chairs is my favorite for ergonomics, at least the Embody makes an attempt that works for a lot of people. I don't think I know a single person who would call the Secretlab Titan EVO ergonomic. This thing is completely flat and will definitely fuck up your back. The Herman Miller Embody definitely takes the cake on ergonomics. But second only to ergonomics is comfort, so which gaming chair feels better to sit in? Well, one of the biggest complaints about the Secretlab Titan line is how hard the seats are. The Embody seat isn't much better, and I've said in the past that it feels a bit like a glorified yoga mat to me, but somehow it still wins against the Titan, because the Titan seat it legitimately sucks ass. Your butt cheeks will probably go numb after a few hours. However, a very common complaint among Embody users is with these 150 pixels as Herman Miller markets them. While I didn't personally have an issue with those, a lot of people say they can feel them through the seat and that they're painful to rest your back against. And I don't doubt that the seat cushion wearing down over time would make this worse. And that's a big problem. But even worse, I think that either of these chairs is a very bad option for people on the bigger side, the old thick boys. They both do a similar thing that I hate, and I assume that it's just their idea of marketing toward gamers, but they both have this weirdly shaped upper back area that sort of rolls your shoulders forward in a way that's not conducive to good posture. It's pretty obvious how Secretlab's Titan does this with its racer-style side bolsters, but the Embody does it too with this weird curved back thing. I'm not a fan of either one. However, the Secretlab Titan does recline significantly farther back and has a high back that serves as a built-in headrest, which is made even more comfortable if you get the magnetic memory foam pillow. So ultimately, I think I'd say that the Embody is way more comfortable in the standard seated position, but the Secretlab's Titan is more comfortable if you tend to game fully or mostly reclined. So I guess I'd give them a tie on comfort. But which chair presents a better value for its price? Well, first off, we need to start on a fair playing field. Herman Miller's gaming Embody is about 3 times as expensive as Secretlab's chairs, so obviously it's built for more premium materials. Whereas one of my biggest complaints about Secretlab's chairs is how badly they tend to hold up over time. Go check out Facebook Marketplace right now and you'll see what I mean. Most of Secretlab's chairs are peeling, tearing, fading, or needing to be duct taped back together within a year or two. Now, the good news is Secretlab does sell skins to go over their chairs, and the Cloud Swap armrests can also be traded out if you want to refresh the look. But if you're like me, it might bother you to pay a premium price on less than premium materials that won't even last a few years. Then on the other hand, you've got the Embody, which is generally a much higher quality chair with a few exceptions. For one, I think their armrests are completely idiotic. Adjusting them feels super janky in a way that's not quite appropriate for a chair this expensive. And the armrests go in as they go up, which makes you feel like I'm in some kind of shitty roller coaster. And it's all just super inconvenient and awkward. Plus, the Embody's seat, like I said earlier, is just way too thin and not what I'd expect from a $2,000 chair. Although, like I said, it is still a better seat than Secretlab seats, which feel like sitting on a rock. So this one's tough for me, but I think I might give Secretlab the win on value. They are much lower quality, but they're also a third of the price. Herman Miller's gaming Embody is definitely higher quality, but you're mostly paying a premium to flex the brand name. You're paying 3 times the price, but I don't really think you're getting 3 times the value with a crazy high quality chair. So, who is the actual king of gaming chairs? Well, it depends on what you're going to be using it for, but for me, it's neither the Herman Miller Embody nor any of Secretlab's chairs. There's actually another chair I find to be way more comfortable and way better for my back, even though it might not look quite as cool in a game room. And you can check out my full review on that chair right here. Between the Embody and the Secretlab Titan though, I wound up finding them at sort of a tie for best gaming chair, but I know people hate that, so let me know what you think the winner should be down in the comments.